Hey, Falcon Zero here. Welcome back to my channel, and today we have a video on pretty touchy subject of, we just had a Nintendo Direct recently, and they did give us some new things on Pokemon Sword and Shield. But there was one thing that they didn't go over on that Direct, and that was the National Dex, or how many Pokemon are going to be in Sword and Shield. And I feel like maybe that should have been addressed, but today I want to look at the things with the National Dex, what's wrong with it. Is there anything good with the National Dex? But, I don't think it's always as bad as maybe some people are trying to make it out. And with that said, let's see if I can entertain you guys for a couple minutes here. First, let's look at the big thing on this. There are more than 800 Pokemon right now. I believe there's 806 in the National Dex, but give or take one or two. That's a lot. That's a lot of freaking Pokemon that they have right now. And do you want every single one of them in the game? Would it kill you if Love Disc didn't make it in the game? Would it kill you if Kessleon didn't make it into the game? Would it kill you if Unknown didn't make it into the game? Because those Pokemon are pretty much, we could say, useless. Now, before I hurt anyone's feelings, because probably a lot of people are like, well, I've seen a team where Unknown has been on the team and, he's destroyed it when they set it up perfect. I'm like, okay, sure, you can do those perfect teams, but like, when was the last time someone was like, you know what, I really want that Love Disc because, Love Disc sucks, besides trying to get like a heart scale. Other than that, like, what do you use that Pokemon for? Like, there's nothing. It doesn't evolve, its stats are really bad. Watch it make Sword and Shield, though. But I don't think so. It's like, if you take Pokemon like that and you don't put them in Sword and Shield, I think that's totally fine. Because why do you need all those Pokemon? And not saying down the line that you can add them later at some other point in some other game, but it's just like, if those are the ones they're omitting, because there's also a lot more than those too, that's not that bad, because maybe they're just trying to make everything more balanced. I'm being like, hey, we're not going to give you the garbage ones in there because we know that you're not even going to, they'll be viable at that point anyways. So it's like, why throw them in there if they're not even really going to be any kind of use to the player? Just one of the thoughts that I had. But the other thing I could also say with those Pokemon, like, if you want them in the game, the way that I would want them at least would be, if you're going to throw Unknown in there and you're going to throw Love Disc in there, make them viable then. Update their stats. Make it so that, like, I would want to use them competitively, because it's like, if you've... This is like a catch-22 I see. It's like you've got over 800 Pokemon, but at the same time you can't make every single one of those competitive. That'd be too hard. There's too much work in that. It's like, I guess you have to have some of them suck and some of them have to be really better than others, and that's why you've got different tiers of like OU and UU and all that stuff. And I'm just really... I don't like Love Disc at all, if you can tell, and that Pokemon doesn't need to be in the game. Nope. Alright, and another theory that I have here is, what if there are a lot of Gen 4 Pokemon missing from this game? Just maybe. Because what if, if you look at Game Freak's history for the last at least couple years, they've been pumping out Pokemon games every single year, and you know what's due for a remake? Diamond and Pearl. And then, well, the Platinum, but it'll be whatever. Diamond and Pearl. Those are due for a remake in there. And I know that we're going to be getting Gen 4 Pokemon in Sword and Shield, but I think Lucario's already confirmed for one of them. What if there's a lot of them missing though? And they do that on purpose, and they're just like, a lot of Gen 4 Pokemon aren't going to be in this game, because we don't know exactly yet of how many Pokemon are in this game. And when they put out the Diamond and Pearl, maybe they'll be like, hey, we're going to add all the Gen 4 now Pokemon in HD. And we also know that this Pokemon Bank thing, it's not Pokemon Bank though, but you're going to be able to put all your Pokemon in there. And they already said that they're not going to update Sword and Shield to have all the Pokemon in the game. But you know what I also think about that is Nintendo's lying. Why would they don't want to tell you that, because there will be like, we would rather surprise it with you later down the line. And it might not be like, hey, because when Sword and Shield comes out, it's like, there's gonna be a patch in 2 months and then we'll add all the Pokemon that are missing. Like, no, they'll be like, hey, next year there might be a patch and then you can bring all these other Pokemon in the game that weren't in there before. I feel like that's something that they would do, especially if, you have these HD models. One, we can look at it this way. Kanto's already done. They've already done HD models for everything of Kanto because of the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. You can assume that a majority of those Kanto Pokemon are going to make it in Sword and Shield. And if you look at the trailers for Sword and Shield, a lot of them are in that game already. Like if you go look at the Kanto Pokemon, it's like, wow, there are a lot of Pokemon already from Kanto. And you could say that it could be a nostalgic thing, and like it'll get older players to come back and just be like, hey, look at, there are all these Kanto Pokemon players in the game. Or, sorry, excuse me, Pokemon in the game. But I think it's also because they're already done. They've already been working with those models. And another thing though, I just kind of want to hit on is 800 Pokemon. That's a lot of Pokemon, and are you really going to be that upset if over 800, because they're also making more Pokemon on top of this too. By this game's over, you can assume that there'll be like 900, especially because they're not all of them will be in the game, but I'll assume that the number will be over 900 at this point. Don't make it into the game. That's a lot. It's like there's no way that you could go and train every single one of those Pokemon. No, nah, someone will do it. The completionist will do it. But still, there's no way that anyone could go and actually train any or all of those Pokemon at once. Like, it's impossible. And it's cool to have all the options, and I get that it's scary because you can be sitting there going like, my favorite Pokemon won't make the game. Like mine, for me, if they didn't put a Heracross into the game, I'd be like, oh, this is no. But at the same time, I'm like, Heracross has got to make the game. He's gonna make it. He better make it. But I get that because they haven't announced the whole Pokedex yet, and it's just like, does my Pokemon make it? If it doesn't make it, I'm going to be really upset. And it's like, yeah, they're probably going to put a good amount of Pokemon in. I would be surprised if they did not put at least 500 Pokemon into this game. And I could assume that they might even put 600 into the game. Like, I'm going to say that they'll probably put the majority of the Pokemon in the game. That's my guess, 500 to 600. I feel like that's a valid number, and that's a fair number too. Like, how much more do you want at that point? If there was 500 to 600 Pokemon, be like, oh, well, this guy didn't make it into the game. I really wanted Unknown. It's like, what were you going to use Unknown for? And all 24 different, and 26 different, 28 different, with the exclamation mark and question mark. 28 unknowns. Let me know in the comments below how many unknowns there are. I think there's 28 off the top of my head. But I really think that's fair, though, for them to add a 600 Pokemon, maybe 500. That'd be on the low side. It'd be 500. 600 would be at the upscale. I feel like if you did 700 though, you might as well do the rest of the Pokemon. So I feel like 600 is like that kind of balance wheel of it. But you know what? I would love to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. How many Pokemon do you think should be in the game? And if you say all of them, you'll say all of them, and then you'll be, I can understand that you just want all the Pokemon in the game because you want all the Pokemon in the game. But I want to be realistic in what's fair, and then also what's viable. If they're even trying to make the, online competition balanced as well. And that might be the most important thing too, though. Like, throw out the garbage. We don't need the garbage ones. Or, maybe make some of the ones that you couldn't use before. If you throw them back in the game, make them better. That too. Like, maybe they'll be like, hey, we're going to throw Farfetch'd in the game. But we're going to make them good too, though. And we'll actually give them like an evolution, and like we'll make it so he can be usable. Because there's Pokemon like that, and I'm like, well, Farfetch is cool, but I won't use him because he sucks. Those are the theories that I have about the National Dex. Let me know in the comments below what theories you guys have. If you like this video, please smash that like button, and to stay up to date with my videos, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and as always, everyone of YouTube, show me your moves.